The Weeping Statues. Hobbs is a small town in New Mexico on the edge of the vast Chihuahuan Desert. The sweeping vistas make a gorgeous backdrop for the many churches, including Our Lady of Guadalupe. The church itself has a modest interior with a classic aisle and altar, which provides services in English and Spanish. Its highlight is undoubtedly the brass statue of Our Lady herself, from which the church takes its name. She is rendered in gold with a green shawl and a wreath of rays behind her. But the decoration is not what makes her unique. In May 2018, the statue of Our Lady began to weep. Since at least the 1600s, Catholics have reported statues of Virgin Mary that appear to spontaneously weep. These crying statues have been reported all over the world, in France, Italy, the US, and more. One of the earliest recorded instances of Mary's statue weeping was in 1643. The population of Rottweiler, Germany, was under siege from the French. 42 men and women crowded into the church, begging God for salvation. As they spoke to Mary, they saw a miracle. Her eyes appeared to move back and forth, and she wept. Catholics and non-Catholics alike witnessed the spectacle. Nearly 400 years later, Mary continues to weep. In 2003, a Bangladeshi statue in a glass case began to weep, drawing thousands of onlookers. In 2017, a statue in Telangana, India, dripped red liquid from the eyes. Back in Hobbs, New Mexico, the Our Lady statue cried for over a month. Onlookers gathered to pay respects, and as they did, they noticed a strong smell. Upon examination, the liquid turned out to be a mixture of oil and balsam called the sacred chrism, the fragrant mixture which is used for anointment and ceremonial purposes within the church. The statue was closely examined, including the hollow interior, but no source of the liquid was found. As quickly as Mary's tears appeared, they dried up. By the end of July 2018, she was no longer weeping, yet the oil mixture returned months later in September. Despite a lack of formal acknowledgement from church authorities, Our Lady of Guadalupe continues to draw crowds today, desperate to see her cry. Helen Brash. Our second case is the strange story behind the disappearance of Helen Brash, who, unlike the other victims we will discuss, lived a life of luxury and opulence which most of us could only imagine. Born in 1911, Helen Brash was extremely wealthy due to the profits of the confectionery empire built by her late father-in-law. The death of her husband had made her a multimillionaire, with an estimated fortune of $17 million. Helen loved animals and used some of her enormous fortune to deal in horses, using another portion to set up an animal rights organization. At the time of her disappearance, Helen had recently begun a relationship with a Chicago man called Richard Bailey, who was infamous for his womanizing habits. One day in 1977, Helen attended a routine checkup at a medical clinic in Minnesota. Before she returned to her hotel room, she stopped at a gift store where she told the assistant, "I'm in a hurry, my houseman is waiting." This may have been the last time she was ever seen alive. Following her disappearance, Brash was declared legally dead in 1984. What were the circumstances behind the disappearance? After 37 years as a cold case, in 2015 evidence emerged that shed some light on the mystery. Documents were uncovered along with other evidence which suggest that Brash may have been kidnapped, beaten and shot on the orders of a notorious Chicago gangland horse dealer. It is alleged that her body was disposed of in a nearby steel furnace. Some have suggested that she became a target after threatening to alert the authorities to criminal activity perpetrated by the sinister horse mafia that operated around Chicago at this time. Helen's butler, Jack Matlick, was considered a key figure in the investigation. However, he was never charged in connection with Helen's disappearance. Matlick swore that Helen had boarded a flight from Minnesota to Chicago's O'Hare Airport. However, there is no evidence that she ever boarded the flight. Brash's lover, Richard Bailey, was sentenced to 30 years in 1995 for racketeering and conspiracy, which included horse sale frauds against Helen Brash and a number of other women. Interestingly, federal prosecutors also stated their belief in Bailey's involvement in Helen Brash's disappearance. In 2019, he was released from prison aged 89. Matlick died of natural causes in 2011 and was never charged with anything in connection to Brash's disappearance. Helen's family members are buried in Unionport, Ohio, near her birthplace of Hopedale. The marble monument includes an empty tomb with her name on it, in the hope that her body may one day be recovered. Why did it take so long for this additional information to emerge? With only sketchy details and much vital information still missing, will we ever know the full story of what happened to Helen Brash? The disappearance of Zaheer Rahan. Zaheer Rahan was one of the most famous writers, novelists and filmmakers in Bangladesh before 1972. His most famous film piece was Stop Genocide, a 20-minute documentary that highlighted the murders and atrocities that the Pakistan Army was carrying out against the people of East Pakistan. This film, along with many others he made, showed his transformation from an artist to a freedom fighter. In 1971, he became an active fighter in the liberation war of Bangladesh. His main weapon during this war were his documentary films, where he intended to show the world what his people were fighting for. Rahan's brother, Shahidullah Kaiser, was a writer and key freedom fighter in the Bangladesh Liberation War. Together, the brothers collected medicine, food, and other essential supplies and delivered them to different stronghold posts around the fighting areas. It was noted that other freedom fighters held the brothers in high regard for their heroic contributions during the war. After the war ended in 1971, the Pakistan Army formed an alliance with locals in Bangladesh to carry out the plan of killing the area's leading intellectuals. On this list of creatives was Zaheer Rahan's brother, who on December 14, 1971, was captured by the Pakistan Army. After hearing of his brother's capture, Zaheer Rahan embarked on the mission to find and liberate his brother. Even though he was known for being a fierce fighter, many of his revolutionary friends urged him not to go, believing that the Pakistan Army would be looking for him too. Blinded by the love for his brother, Rahan ignored all warnings and proceeded to lead a search party across Bangladesh. It is believed that Rahan followed the trail of his captured brother to the capital city of Dhaka. When entering the suburb of Mirpur, Rahan and his search party were ambushed by soldiers of the Pakistan Army who were hiding in surrounding buildings. Although there were many casualties in this ambush, Rahan's body was not amongst the dead. Therefore, it is possible that Rahan might have been a lucky escape and continued on with his search for his brother. The only thing known for sure is that neither brother was ever seen again. The Bat Creek Inscription. In 1889, the Smithsonian Bureau of Ethnology led an expedition that was directed by famed entomologist Cyrus Thomas, of whom was known for his study in the Native American cultures and languages during this time. According to the expedition reports, a stone tablet, later named the Bat Creek Stone Tablet, was uncovered during the archaeological expedition that Cyrus Thomas claimed had inscribed lettering that were, beyond any question, the letters of the Cherokee alphabet. Oddly enough, the Cherokee alphabet itself would not have been made until about 1821, when it was created from the existing Cherokee language by George Guess, also known as Sequoyah, of whom designed the alphabet to be used by the Cherokee people. Although at first glance, this might not appear to have been much of a mystery, the expedition team claimed that the vegetation overgrowing the mound at which the Bat Creek inscription was found showed evidence of the mound having been older than a century, predating the existence of the written Cherokee alphabet. This strange realization of the odd conflict between the invention of the Cherokee alphabet and an artifact found with the inscribed lettering before the letters were invented led to an immediate worldwide puzzle that would bring experts with all different backgrounds working to try to solve this strange mystery. It would not be until a man named Cyrus H. Gordon, not to be confused with Cyrus Thomas, of whom discovered the stone tablet, would work to translate the stone and uncover that the Bat Creek inscription possessed Paleo-Hebrew lettering and not that of the Cherokee alphabet. When translated, the Bat Creek inscription spelt out the phrase "for Judea," a phrase that served as old land claims for the Jewish people. Given anti-Semitic thoughts at the time, the rock would be dismissed as nothing more than a hoax to prevent any legitimacy from stemming from the Paleo-Hebrew find, leaving the origin of the stone a mystery for the modern day. Marie Mann, Marie, South Australia. On June 26, 1998, Trek Smith a helicopter pilot was flying between Coober Pedy and Marie in the remote north of South Australia. As he looked down, he spotted a mysterious large humanoid drawing. Trek Smith took photographs of the geoglyph and reported about the geoglyph. The discovery of this massive geoglyph fascinated Australians and the conspiracy theorists around the world. This mysterious geoglyph was named the Marie Man. It is also known as Stuart's Giant. It depicts a native Australian man hunting with a stick or a boomerang. The exact location of the geoglyph is 60 kilometres west of Marie Town in South Australia. This geoglyph is 2.6 kilometres tall and extends to an area of more than 2.5 square kilometres. Archaeologists have done extensive research on the geoglyph, but they have not been able to trace its origins. Geologists believe that it was made during recent times. However, no one has come forward to take responsibility for the creation of the geoglyph, and there are no eyewitness accounts in the area who could give any hint about its creation. Some people suggest that Bardius Goldberg, who was a Northern Territory artist, was the main man behind the creation of the Marie Man geoglyph. Bardius Goldberg has shown interest in creating an artwork that would be visible from space. However, when he was asked about the creation of the geoglyph, he neither confirmed nor denied that he was behind the creation. Another popular belief about the creation of the Marie Man is that it was created by the American or Australian soldiers stationed in Woomera Range Complex. It is a major Australian military and civil aerospace facility.